Hello, everyone. This is Miriam Smith-Stevens. I am the brand paramedic, and today we're going to talk about storytelling. 5 key questions that you should ask in order to jumpstart your business. It has been my pleasure to be able to share this with you guys today. Just to tell you a little bit about me, as you can tell, I am into music, and this jumpstarts our webinar today. What is my story? Well, again, my name is Miriam Smith-Stevens. I am the CEO of MissStevensPR.com. MissStevensPR.com, we will integrate your message, connect your audience, and establish your brand onto the social media platforms. I have a Bachelor's of Science in Marketing from Hampton University. I also have a master's in new media journalism from Full Sail University. And then I am currently in my Master's of Art degree program from Full Sail University. This is why I am launching this webinar today. I am acquiring my public relations degree, and we want to just share some interesting information so that those who are interested in branding can get a good jump start to getting their story articulated. I also love storytelling. I do it through multimedia projects such as script writing, videography, photography. I produce, direct trailers for my clients as well as videos. So I do a lot. There I am down in the bottom, working hard for my clients, and I enjoy what I do. So let's go ahead and get started. Just going to tell you a couple of housekeeping information. We're going to explore storytelling, its relationship to brand development. Our agenda will be answering these key questions. What is storytelling? Why is your story necessary to be told? How to begin creating your brand story, where to share your brand's message, and when to tell your story. Now, during this webinar, you are welcome to hashtag me with any of your questions. You would use hashtag Miss Stevens PR Brand Story. You can post it on my Twitter page or Facebook. All of it is at MissStevensPR.com, or even go to my website, again at MissStevensPR.com. If I get an opportunity throughout this webinar to address your questions, I will most certainly do so. But if you want to go ahead and post the questions, I definitely will address it after the webinar event by posting through my Twitter, Facebook, and my website any feedback that you'd like to get. Let's get started. What is storytelling? What is it all about? Well, according to Firefly, I got this off of a Facebook post. It says storytelling is how we share things that are important to us. It is also how we pass on our beliefs and how we pass on our guidelines, our morality. In essence, storytelling is how we communicate from birth to death, our story, our life, our interest, what's important to us, our plans, our purpose, our passion. And that is the essence of storytelling. Why is storytelling necessary? According to Robert McPhee Brown, storytelling is the most powerful way to put ideas into the world today. Everything involves a story. We can use storytelling in all types of art forms. It transcends all types of cultures. That is why storytelling is very necessary. And there's an art to it. There's a way that you can do that. And we're going to talk about that. Now, David Ogilvy, he's a famous advertising copywriter and ad agency founder. He says the intangible sum of a product's attributes, its name, the packaging and price, its history, its reputation, and the way it's advertised. All of that talks about how something formulates a brand and a brand story. So, what is a brand anyway? A brand is a promise, a perception, an expectation, a brand persona, and a tangible element or elements. According to Susan Lillis, and she's with Ask Your Target Market, she explains a few things and the components of a brand. Again, it's a promise to a consumer. The brand backs up what it promotes. Not only do brands focus on products and services, but they also take into consideration feelings that consumers receive when engaging with their brand's products, their services, and their goods. Now, a brand is a perception. This also plays into account as your brand is developed into the eyes and public view. It will be the perception that people have about you. That's what will establish your brand, your history, your current standings, and then your legacy. So, ultimately, how the consumer believes, receives, and accepts your brand is how the public believes the company and what the company is all about. Susan also writes, the only thing that matters is how consumers perceive your brand, or your brand is doomed to limited growth potential. So basically, whatever that company or individual is targeting to the audience that they want to acquire as promoters, they really cater their brand message, what they're all about, to that intended audience. Then we're going to look at another component of a brand. In defining what a brand encompasses, we also look at the expectations. Based on your brand promise, consumers develop expectations for your brand. When a consumer invests in your brand, they're aligning with your message and expect certain returns on their personal investment. The public is critical, and it's very quick to articulate their discontent, especially if their expectations are not being met. So it really does behoove your brand to remain true to its image. Now, in this day and age, social media, it's created a platform to be very vocal. You can share negative and positive perceptions, your dislikes, when a brand lets you down. So it's very important that whatever you put out there and establish as your core foundation, it's maintained. Or the public will be very vocal. It can go very viral quickly, and your brand will face a catastrophe, and then you're going to have to do crisis management. Also, let's look at your persona. The type of question to really get to the essence of a brand is not asking what, but whom. So defining through this is the brand's persona, and that's really key. Taking on an aspect about the branding that personalizes the message will help the public understand one's brand in an intimate, transparent, and relatable manner. We spend a lot of time with individuals for various reasons. We choose who we're going to be friends with. And in the same situation, the public chooses who they're going to befriend as their brand of choice. They align with the message, the passion, the motivations of that brand, the image, the packaging. And so therefore, it is a brand persona, almost a humanistic quality that an individual and a company and corporation, whether for public or non-public, puts out there in the public. So there's a persona that goes along with your brand. And finally, a brand is very tangible. Basic things when you first thought about a brand, like logos and pictures and websites and packaging, all of those things are tangible elements. So a brand must be presented in a consistent, concise, and transparent manner to the public in order for the public to understand what this brand is all about. Brands do need to be clear. We need to have reliability and believability to be able to identify and align with the brand. So, anybody considering your brand, if they want to adopt, align, and accept your brand's message, you best believe that they're looking at the promise, perception, and expectation, the persona, and the tangible elements that are a part of that brand. Now, what is about this brand story anyway? And how is branding a little different than, the typical what we thought of marketing? When you think of marketing, you're thinking your advertising, your branding. But there's a little difference. There's a difference between branding and marketing. Marketing is what you do. But branding is who you are. And according to Scott Bedbury, who worked with Nike and Starbucks, a brand is a story. And that story is always being told. So branding is who you are and what you are. It makes loyal customers, advocates, even evangelists out of those who buy into your brand story. So let's talk a little bit about storytelling. What is storytelling all about? And how do we actually begin to create your own story? Storytelling is an interactive art of using words and actions to reveal the elements and image of a story while encountering the listener's imagination. You think about it, storytelling is interactive. You can be a part of the story. A great story brings a person into that story, and they kind of align themselves of either the character or the hero. They become that story. They start to walk out that story. They believe they're that story. That's a great story. Storytelling involves a two-way interaction between the storyteller and the or one or more listeners. A storyteller uses language, whether it's spoken, manual language, such as American Sign Language. Storytelling uses actions, vocalizations, physical movements, and/or gestures. And storytelling presents a story. It encourages the active imagination of the listeners. Storytelling can happen in any many situations, such as around the kitchen table, the water cooler at work, a house of worship. Everywhere a story is being told. Every walk of life, every diverse culture, every race of people, they all tell stories. And their story is unique. It helps share and shape history. It acknowledges accomplishments and elevates a person's legacy. And that information was from the National Storytelling Network. So, what is a brand story and how do you get it going? A brand story is one that you want to start with the why. Why am I here? Simon Sinek, he's an awesome orator and storyteller. And he has gotten to the core and the essence of why people motivate and gravitate to certain individuals or brand. And the way that he identified it is you start with why in everything you do. And that is key. When you answer the why and you express the why of why you exist, why you believe how you believe, why are you passionate about what you do, then people start to understand and they start seeing themselves in the why of what you do. And then they can start gravitating and aligning and promoting and adopting your particular brand story. So you start with the why. We all have one. It's filled with intrigue, excitement, turmoil, adventure, challenge, tragedy, and triumph. The fascinating journey to reveal, embrace, and explore that fuels the passion behind our purpose. It is a unique conversation, visual collage, an emotional tug that allures the public into our world. And in the world today, articulating your brand story to the public connects you to your audience. So what is brand storytelling? If you don't have a story, you are just another commodity. You're just a boring, replicable cog in the consumption machine. You have no way to differentiate your brand or your business. So, creating a brand story is not simply about standing out and getting noticed. It's about building something that people care about, that they care about what you are, who you believe, what you're passionate about. And then they want to buy into it. It's about framing your scarcity and dictating your values. It's about thinking beyond the utility and functionality of products and services and striving for creation of loyalty and meaningful bonds with your customer. That's what brand storytelling does. And that's from the brandstorytelling.com website. You know, the art and science of telling a great brand story. People don't have 30 minutes to be interrupted. But if you've got a great story, they're going to take the 30 minutes to hear that great story. So you have to be captivating in your brand image. You have to really intrigue someone, and they're going to take the time to share a great brand and hear the story. So there's an art and science of brand story, and that information is by John Thomas. You see that on the screen. The best brands are built on great stories. Ian Roden, Chief Marketing Officer of Virgin Group, shares that. And again, we're talking about brands. You think about brands that when you say their names, Nike, there's an image, there's a story. Dove, there's an image, there's a story. Walmart, there's an image, there's a story. The Salvation Army, there's an image, there's a story. Red Cross, there's an image, there's a story. United Way, there's an image, there's a story. All of these captivate you because you know why they exist. And then you align with what they exist. Starbucks, McDonald's, Burger King, all of these have brands and stories behind them. Apple, awesome with building the brand concept and story. There's a history. There's a legacy that they're going to have in this world. It has reshaped the way that we communicate and do business. So all of them have images, and they connotate that when we say their names. That brand just pops up in our minds, and then we identify with their story. So, how do we do this story? How do we share this message? Well, and where are we going to share this message? Well, the first thing you want to think about is you come up with a plan. You're going to want to dig deep. You want to uncover the roots that make you unique and answer why you exist. And when you do that, you come up with platforms where you can share this. You can do it on your website. You can do it at a conference such as Divine Concept Group. This past February had their third Authors and Writer Workshop, and they created promoters who aligned with the group's message and actually benefited from the previous workshops that they had. And now they're published authors. They've created a brand story because now they have a following of people who have aligned. They wanted to write. They got the information. They're now happy customers of this particular brand's workshop. And Divine Concept Group have promoters because of this event. Being able to take the feedback and take it as their own. They've become promoters, and they've got their own works and published books. So the promoters, though, are going to share this information, not only in a conference, word of mouth, offline, but they go online too through social media. I've even developed a brand. As the brand paramedic, I've shared on SoundCloud, which is a podcast format. And if you take a gander, go ahead and click on and listen to my podcast that talks about shares steps of creating a unique story. And that's step one. You can also use YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all types of social media networks is a way that you can share your brand story and use it effectively and at no cost or low cost. So it doesn't hurt to get connected offline and online to shape and share your brand story. So again, one of the things you want to do is come up with a strategy. I had the strategy where I developed my logo, I developed my tagline. The brand paramedic is here to revive your business or resuscitate your business today. And I am talking about providing you a 3-step plan of action so that you can revive. It's a CPR plan. So if you're in an emergency or crisis with your brand, you can come to me and I will be there to assist you. Just call me up, 911. So I have a logo and I use this whole message and kind of coordinate all of that together online through my main website, YouTube, Pinterest, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. These are just some of the ways that I've created a platform and a network online as well as offline. Now, when do you start sharing your brand story? You start when you get your concept. So let's talk a little bit about when and how you do it. How to come with every moment you are visible to the public. Every color, every choice, every packaging, every logo, every tagline, every elevator pitch indicates your brand story. So your story unfolds and it's presented through a consistent communication, and it's the way that you present it to the public. So step one, get to know why you are here, why you wanted to launch that business, launch that service, launch that nonprofit, launch that for-profit. And you're going to have to take the time to write and then rewrite and then rewrite again and fine tune and tweak and retweak. And then you bring it to a canvas, a multimedia platform, a news or linear platform. And you develop your websites, you develop your social media channels, you develop your brochures, you articulate it on offline to the public, one-to-one communications, or even to the news media. You do press releases. And all of this shares the why of why you're here, why you exist. And that's how you start getting your brand story out there. And you start doing it now. You have an idea, cultivate that idea. You know, good writing and content strategy makes products and the marketing of our products a lot better. So when we do our jobs well, the things we launch are easier and more fun to use. And we've seen how changing copy can positively impact signups, engagements, and sentiments. And this was by Tiffany Jones Brown. She's a content strategy lead at Pinterest via Contently. You know, stories make life interesting. They give people a way to connect. People crave them, which creates a big opportunity for brand storytelling. And that's from art and science of a great brand storytelling. Again, we said people don't have 30 seconds to be interrupted, but they always have 30 minutes to hear a great story. And where were we going to share that brand story? And when do you start sharing it? According to Carolyn Kent, strategy director at Ogilvy.com, no matter what medium you use, a good story is authentic and creative, provokes an emotional connection, takes people on a journey, and inspires action. But with social media, it's also important to know what will promote a person to share your story, the networks. And as we mentioned before, you can go to the YouTube, or you can go to set your own website You can go to Instagram. You can go to Twitter, Facebook. All of these things, if you're going to utilize them, you're going to need to know how people connect through those different platforms. So some of the things that allow your story to become shareable, according to Carolyn Kent, she's the strategy director at ogle.com, bringing value or entertaining content to others, defining ourselves to others, growing relationships, and spreading the word about what causes or what our brand we care about. So we're going to learn some ways to share on social media so that we can make an impact. And it will go viral on YouTube or Instagram or Pinterest or Vine or Twitter or Facebook or other social media networks. You want to provide images, something that's captivating. You want something that's intriguing, that or funny or humorous. You want to provide an image that gives a mission statement so people can identify and adopt what you're talking about. And then you want to make some bridging of the gaps by making real life human connections. This can be shared virally through videos where people can connect or conversate or have dialogue and share. And then finally, you want to tell a collective story where the public speaks and evangelizes your brand. Social media is this perfect platform to elevate promoters for a cause. Let the groupies speak and the early adopters become influencers for others to join that bandwagon. Again, I've created my own kind of social media networks, and I encourage you guys to do that as well. So, when do you start sharing your brand story? Let's start now. Write it out. Why you do what you do, and then begin sharing that message. You want to go ahead and not let anything impede upon getting that story out. You know, brands are all around us. And I've created a video just to kind of let you know, through my travels in Hampton Roads, Virginia, I was looking at all kind of brands and they all have stories. Let's take a little gander about that. The story of a brand. It's told all around us. Where memories are created and lives, they connect through common interests. And friendships form, creating life experiences. A brand reminds us of places we've been to, times we've shared. Brands all around us create a story. So what is your story? It has been my pleasure to provide this brand webinar, answering a few key questions about storytelling and how important and significant it is to jumpstart your brand. Again, my name is Miriam Smith-Stevens. I am the brand paramedic. I provide you a 3-step CPR brand treatment plan to help revive your image. You can connect with me, and if you need help to jumpstart that story, well, go ahead. Look at my podcast again that I have on SoundCloud. Visit my website. Subscribe to me. I'm at MissStevensPR.com. I'm on Facebook at Miss Stevens PR, Twitter the same way, Miss Stevens PR, and then you can get me on other various platforms: LinkedIn, Google Plus, Pinterest. I have an RS feed, and I'm on YouTube. Thank you so much for taking your journey today with me, a little bit of your time to learn about storytelling. The brand paramedic is here to the rescue to help revive your story today. Have a great day.